The Digital Photography Cafe show is brought to you by Focus Pyramid, the autofocus lens calibration tool for your camera.
Welcome to the Digital Photography Cafe show. Join hosts Trevor Current and Joseph Cristina as they serve up the hottest photography news and commentary.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. This is episode 214. I'm Joseph Cristina here with my co-host, Trevor Current. Hey Trevor, how you doing, my friend?
I am doing well. We are back.
Excellent. We are here. Another week. A lot of interesting stuff happened this week, right?
Yeah, there is a lot of interesting stuff going on. Why don't we start with Sigma? And, we've been talking about these lens adapters in the past couple shows, actually. It seems like more and more companies are popping on the market with these now. But for adapting your lenses to your Sony mirrorless bodies, and Sigma now has a version that will allow you to connect your Sigma and your Canon lenses into your Sony mirrorless, which is really good.
Yeah, that Sony E-mount that everyone is looking to be able to connect to. So yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, Metabones has been doing it forever, guys. They've kind of the de facto adapter when it comes to this kind of thing. It's really important because if you are a professional or even a pro-am and have bought 1,000, 2,000, or maybe 20,000, like some people that are looking at you right now with a funny face. But yeah, you want to be able to migrate your lenses over to that platform if you do want to go to the mirrorless way of things, right? And kind of get out of the DSLR world. But the problem is you just, you can do it and manually focus, but if you want to use autofocus and all the other niceties in these, $2,000, $3,000 lenses, you have not been able to do it until Metabones came out with a lot of their adapters that allow you to do it. So the problem with them is that sometimes they work well, sometimes they don't. It's kind of hit and miss. I took a question the other day about this, and someone was asking about, because they looked at one of the videos that I did regarding the Sony Alpha A7 S2 as well as the R2, and I just ran them and I tried the Metabones and I tried all the Canon glass, and it just had problems. It just simply had problems. So, and they asked, so what is the best thing to do, if you want to do this? Well, there really is no best thing to do besides getting rid of your Nikon glass and your Canon glass and going through Sony glass. The thing that's really good now is if you do want to go the Sony route, they do have that G Master glass, that is literally the equivalent to that high quality glass that we see on Nikon and Canon, and it's all fast glass, 2.8 glass, 1.4 glass, good stuff. But you're going to pay the same price as you would with Nikon or Canon. So now that we have someone else in the market, we see Sigma doing it. I mean, just last week we reported on that other company doing it, Velo, and they ended up, So there are people that are doing it.
Yeah, what's interesting with this, though, this is the model number is the Sigma MC-11 is the unit. Right. And what this is it is specific to Sigma lenses. You're not going to bring your Canon native glass over. You're going to bring your Sigma Canon mount glass over. So just to clarify that. So what this adapter does is when you connect it to the Sony, you plug in your lens, it's got an LED display that's going to let you know whether it's going to work or not. And if not, you're going to need to update the firmware in the lens. And Sigma has that dock that you can use, that you can plug in, which, you can do a lot of firmware updates to it from lens calibration, I believe, right into updating the firmware in order to work with this adapter. So this is really good. I mean, for those of you who are Sigma lens owners and who've been using them on your DSLR, on your Canon specifically, this is an opportunity for you to at least transfer that glass over. I mean, they are claiming that you do get the full features of the lenses. So, this again goes back to being really interesting. Now it gives you the ability to take that expensive glass that you've purchased over the years and you now use them on another body option.
Right. I think it's really great. And seeing that Sigma's doing that, and chances are you'll see companies like Tamarind doing the exact same thing. It's okay for a third party to be able to bring people over to an E-mount system on Sony, but it wouldn't happen for like Nikon or Canon to come up with an adapter to adapt their lenses off of their, off their flagship.
No.
It just would never happen.
That's for sure.
Yeah. So that's when you need these third parties like, like we were talking about with Metabones and whatnot.
Right.
So yeah, this is really, really interesting. I mean, it's interesting. And if Sigma is doing it and Tamarind is not, and the other third-party glass is not, this is definitely something that will differentiate it from the other third-party glass. And, people might say, listen, let's go with that. And it's good that you brought up the point that of this docking station that Sigma has. That docking station is, like you said, can do autofocus lens calibration with it also, and actually, change the settings internal to that lens, not just in your camera. So it's really, and firmware updates and all the rest of stuff is really interesting.
Right.
I mean, they have this, this different model or this different line that we're creating something, but then allowing it to be adaptive. Or allowing us to be able to make modifications to it after the fact. And that's really good. I like that model a lot. It's really cool.
It is. MSRP on this unit is $249. So something to think about if you're looking to make the conversion.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So moving on, we know that advertising is so critical, right? And a lot of us have used like the Knot and use Wedding Wire and companies like this to be able to find brides if you're, a photographer that does weddings. And we've found over the past that it worked really well 5, 6, 8, 10 years ago, a long time ago. And now it's getting worse and worse and worse as far as turnaround, as far as the price that you're paying for what you're getting now.
It's a saturated market,
very saturated.
If you're a member of an email list, and you start getting emails from this company, over and over and over and over again, eventually you just get tired of seeing them. And, brides, they come and they go. They're a bride and then they're married, right? They're no longer relevant to that email list. So spending the money with, one of these companies that focuses solely on brides is great in theory. But the results are definitely dropping. I mean, we've been hearing that from a lot of people. And now Facebook has an interesting kind of spin on, connecting with these people using the pixels as that are part of their advertising module. And it gives you the ability, if you're not familiar with using pixel, tracking pixels and stuff with Facebook, it gives you the ability to drop this little bit of code into the header of your website. And it will track your visitors. It will see, where they go, what pages they go. But it then connects them back to Facebook. So it creates that relevancy between, Facebook, running your Facebook ad, having them click on the ad, go to your website. The website now communicates back with Facebook saying that, Jane Smith came over from Facebook, checked out your site. And this is what she did while she was here. And now what this does is this new kind of addition to the advertising module allows you to basically build an audience based off of your existing audience, whether it be the audience from your fan page or whether you upload your contacts, your list of contacts into the system.
Yeah, I think that's great because all of us guys have a list of contacts, right? We all have our past brides. We all have hopefully everything kind of broken down onto who we have dealt with in the past and what they've done with us. And for example, let's say it's bridal and you have 200-300 brides that you've done over the course of the years.
Right.
If you have their email addresses, you can drop that into this Facebook pixel, into this method, and it takes those 300 brides and then it does direct correlations between those people and everyone else that's, let's say, near you or however the distance is that you want it to be. And it will find another, let's say, million or 500,000 people that are very similar to those 300.
Yep.
So instead of marketing to just everyone or trying to use Facebook to kind of discern who you really want to go to, age 18 to 65, I want women, I want this. Now, all of a sudden, you're able to find people that you've already done business with. They obviously like you. These are people that are in your, let's call it the biosphere of you. And now find people that are extremely similar to that. It's almost like a dating game for advertising.
Yeah, it really is. That's absolutely right. It's finding people who are relevant based on other people that you're already connected with. And that really is the key benefit here. I mean, we've used Facebook's targeting system in the past for many different campaigns. And it does work well, but it's more of a broad brush. You're finding people who Facebook thinks are relevant based on the criteria that you give them. But with giving them more personalized data like this, it really allows them to narrow down. Now, is this a good thing for the end consumer? Probably not. It's utilizing your kind of, let's say, personal information for its own gain. But for us, from a business standpoint, I think it works out great.
Yeah, it's a two-way street. When you are given a service for free, nothing is free. There's no free lunch.
Yep.
You're giving away your data, and that's your payment for using it.
That's right.
So, if I get advertising that is very specific to something that I'm looking for, I don't really mind it too much.
Yeah.
It's just when I get, advertising for something that's just, a baby product and I don't have any babies, it's like, this just to make, I don't want to see that, But if I'm looking for a hard drive and all of a sudden I get an advertising for a hard drive that's on special through a company, whoever, now, that makes kind of sense. And I'll probably, maybe I'll click on it.
Well, I tell you what, I've been getting this a lot, man. As I've been shopping on Amazon lately, all of a sudden, I log into my stream on my iPhone, and here's ads for things that I just searched for on Amazon.
Right. So you got to stop searching for Depends, and you won't get that anymore. That
I feel so
adult
violated.
diaper. Exactly. So, anyways, moving on. More marketing stuff. Twitter. We know that. Video is everything today, right? Yep. Video is where marketing is moving to. It was audio for a long period of time, from radio, and then finally went into TV. And then on the internet, it ended up being more of the websites, right? And we did a lot of marketing through websites. Right. Now you have, right side, left side column blindness. You have upper banner blindness. Everyone's looking at just the small content that they're looking at, nothing else. Everything else, it just disappears.
Right.
So video is doing really well. And what's very interesting is Facebook has really been pushing video and moving video to the next level. So if you post video, you get, your video will show up on more of your closest friends and everyone else than if you just posted a picture. Well, Twitter is doing the exact same thing. The difference is the AI that's behind the video that's classifying what the video is and who should see it, right, Trev?
Right. So both Facebook and Twitter have kind of an AI engine that works for static video, primarily Facebook. Let's say you upload a video to Facebook. Facebook analyzes that video, tries to figure out what the content of that video is, and then can make a suggestion to the audience of who it thinks is relevant to this video. And that's also accompanied by any tags or anything like that you add to the video. Where the problem lies is with live video. And both, Twitter with Periscope and Facebook with their live streaming. And we've been talking about Facebook live streaming on, the last couple shows because it's hot. That and 360 video, right? Those are the hot things.
Right.
So what both companies are working on is modifying and kind of creating an AI engine for live video. And right now, with as much data and as much information as Facebook has about you, it is very limited in what it can do with live video and who it can make recommendations to. But Twitter, on the other hand, seems to be a little bit more advanced in this space. So utilizing Periscope, for example, in streaming live video, the Twitter AI engine is already kind of testing some work that it's been doing on being able to identify objects within the video.
Yeah, who's in the video, facial recognitions. It's probably doing snapshots of the video and then doing direct comparisons of what it sees in those snapshots to try to correlate, is it a cat?
Right.
Is it a dog? Is it John that it knows? And then also probably doing relational type stuff that has to do with the hashtags that you put in your 140 characters, let's say,
Right.
that kind of clues it off also.
That's right.
There's some extremely smart MIT people that are working on this.
Oh yeah, for sure. But what's really good about this though is us as business owners and marketers, it gives us the ability to get our videos in front of the right audiences. Because let's say we're doing photography tips. A lot of us do that. Then we need to be able to create the content so that it gets found. And by,
Right.
These engines getting smarter, it will allow Twitter and Facebook to make recommendations of these live videos to get you in front of the people. So if somebody's looking for, live video about photography, it's now able to identify these things and be able to recommend it. So this is really
Right.
huge. We're not there yet. We're not even close.
No.
But we are getting there, and they're making great improvements. And this kind of goes along now into Amazon. So Amazon just announced their Video Direct service, which is kind of let's say a YouTube-like service where it allows content creators to upload video into the Amazon Prime Video space.
This is exciting, Trev.
This is really exciting because this is
Really.
an opportunity for monetization. If you're looking to do that, to monetize your content, or really more, again, back to the idea of marketing and getting your message in front of people. So Amazon has a huge audience
Oh my
of
God.
Prime
Yeah.
members.
And it's just not here in the U.S.
No.
I mean, they encompass Germany,
That's right.
Austria, UK, Japan, on and on and on. And the thing is Amazon Prime is almost everywhere. It's on Xbox. It's on, Xbox One, Xbox 360. It's on the PS4. It's on some of your Blu-rays already have Amazon in it. Some of your TV platforms
Yep.
themselves, just your TV, you can go and search and play Amazon Prime videos. So yeah, it's just like a YouTube model. I wonder, what kind of money and what kind of monetization can happen with it, because we know some of these YouTube guys are literally making six figures still to this day just doing game videos and stuff. So
right, well, that's it. I mean, this system is designed that you can earn royalties based on hours streamed by Prime members. They have a revenue share model.
Right.
A monthly subscription. So similarly is YouTube Red, which is a subscription model. And if you are one of the few lucky, let's say, that can get your content into the YouTube Red interface, then you have the ability of getting a piece of that subscription pie. And similarly, you can do that with YouTube or with Amazon here as well. You can get part of that money, let's say, from the Amazon subscriptions, the Prime subscriptions, but you can also earn money off ad revenue. I just like the idea of being able to get it in front of a larger audience. I mean, for us with the show, this is a great opportunity that we can put the show up there to get it out to more people on more devices through a different interface, through the Amazon Prime Video interface.
Absolutely.
As opposed to it just being, let's say, on YouTube.
And that's why when we originally started the show 5 years ago, we were just putting it out there for iTunes for the longest time and on the website. And then we heard of a really interesting site called Stitcher and Stitcher Radio. And then we found out that a lot of the car manufacturers were actually installing Stitcher directly into their platform, right into the car. And that's why a lot of you guys are overseas right now hearing us in your car through Stitcher Radio. So, and we did that immediately. And that's what we try doing all the time. Anytime something new happens, we not only tell you guys about it, but we actually act on it ourselves and test it out and then kind of report back to you guys. Is it good? Is it not good? How does it work out? So I guess, the jury's out. We'll see what happens with this. But it
TiVo
sounds really good.
kind of threw us for a loop there. our video, was available on TiVo through an RSS, and they had a store with podcasts, and you could go in there and you could grab it and you could watch it and the whole deal. And then they redid their interface basically. And basically that whole way of finding and adding to your box, our show went by the wayside. So you could still do it through a roundabout way of finding an RSS feed and whatever. It was a big mess. So that was definitely a big decision for us to go YouTube, because YouTube, again, is available on all the different devices. Absolutely. So, we kind of avoid these little niche things that, may just not make sense.
Yeah. So anyways, guys, moving on, we were under embargo for a few days after hearing from our friends over at Corel, and we're finally off it. And that's really why we've kind of put the show back a couple of days to kind of talk to you about what transpired in this conversation. And we're going to do so in just a minute. But before we do, let's go ahead and take a quick break to hear from one of our sponsors. Hang in there.
As photographers, we all strive for the sharpest images possible. We follow all the rules, using low ISO, the fastest possible shutter speeds, and a tripod whenever possible, only to find soft images still being produced. While all these methods are valid, what you haven't been told is that from manufacturer to manufacturer, and even lens copy to lens copy, there are slight variances to the exact spot where light is being focused onto the sensor. These variances are what the focus pyramid quickly, easily, and cost-effectively addresses. This product was developed as a direct response to the many DIY products that were too complex to use and the commercially available products that were simply too expensive. The focus pyramid works with all major camera manufacturers, including Canon, Nikon, Sony, Olympus, and Pentax, to name a few. It will also work with all future DSLR cameras that allow for custom focus adjustments. The focus pyramid is a true form-follows-function undertaking. It allows the photographer to quickly calibrate their lenses either in studio or on location in a matter of minutes to help them achieve the absolute sharpest images possible. Simply place the focus pyramid on a flat surface. Align the camera, take a shot, and review your focus point. Adjust your camera settings to compensate for any variances. Repeat this process for each and every one of your lenses. That's it. Images go from soft to tack sharp in a matter of minutes. So grab a focus pyramid to take complete control of your DSLR's focusing system and start making better photographs today.
All right, so we're back. And as Joe had mentioned, we had a little briefing, let's say a press briefing with the folks over at Corel. And, we were under embargo. We couldn't talk about it until just now. And it was based around their product AfterShot Pro, and they came out with version 3 as of the time of recording this. And we've talked about AfterShot Pro 2 on the show in the past, and it is basically a Lightroom alternative. And Joe had done a great side-by-side comparison between AfterShot Pro and Lightroom a while back, and that video has been doing really well on YouTube too. I mean, there's a lot of interest here for Lightroom alternatives.
Right.
So this is really good. I mean, there are more and more companies kind of coming on the scene now because they hear the rumblings, they feel the pushback from Adobe's subscription model.
Yeah.
And I know On1 just a week ago announced that they were going to be coming out with a raw conversion software app that allows editing and cataloging and stuff. So we're finding more and more people are getting involved. And actually, Corel and On1 have partnered in ways. So they even talked to us about On1 during our briefing.
Right.
But yeah, this new software looks like a really nice update to their existing product line. Really listening to the community's feedback and making some requested revisions and updates and additions, let's say, to their platform.
Yeah, and I know during that side-by-side that I did, I might actually put a link here so you can go and take a look at it, guys, if you want to go and see it. Obviously, it is for version 2, and now 3 is out, but it just kind of gives you an idea of the package and what it can do, what it can't do, how it works, and whatnot. And one of the things that it couldn't do was be able to watermark your images. And that was, you could do it. I shouldn't say it couldn't do it. Internally, it couldn't do it, but through plugin, you could do it. And it was kind of hokey, the way you had to go about it. They listened to us. Matter of fact, that was one of the things that they were talking about in our conversation. They said, you guys were, one of the major, contributors to that change, as we would say. And now, internal to 3.0, we have the possibility of doing that watermarking, and not just doing the watermarking as just words, but also watermarking as far as images. You can put an image like a PNG at different levels of opacity over your image, which is really great. And some other neat ways to put the text onto the image. So that's really
it's really
great.
a powerful interface. I mean, it definitely feels like Photoshop working in layers. I mean, you can drop it in there, an image, you can drop text, you can move it, you can size it, you can skew it, distort it, opacity. I mean, it really is quite robust for what sounds like a simple feature. But once you create it and set it, you can do that mass apply, to your images and dump it on there. It's not like you have to recreate the wheel with every image.
Just like
that is hugely powerful.
Exactly. Just like with Lightroom, guys, when you go and export, you can just say simply, okay, I want you to put my copyright onto every exported image, and you just hit go, and it exports all the images, and it bakes that into your image. So really, really powerful. The one thing that I found that was interesting is one of the other ideas and one of the other things that we spoke to them about, this was months ago, it was regarding, Adobe just taking away camera raw, let's say, taking away raw, their package to people that aren't, let's say, paying for cloud. So if you have an old, let's say, Lightroom 5, and now all of a sudden, you no longer have access to raw, that means any new camera that comes out, you will not be able to access CR2 files, for example, on the Canon side, properly. And what was funny is I tested it out on one of our older machines that does not have cloud Lightroom in it, and only has Lightroom 5 baked into it. And that machine would not read one of the newer Canon cameras. And it was like, wow, this is really the case. This is exactly what we said was going to happen. This is exactly what's happening. It's not allowing you to update those extensions. It's a really big problem. So I said, you know what? Let me go and install the brand new AfterShot Pro 3 that they just gave us. I installed it, put in my little code. Everything is up and running. The first thing I do is open up that image, and lo and behold, the image opens. No problem. Work fine. I'm able to now, edit that specific CR2 file right there within AfterShot Pro 3, whereas I couldn't do it with Lightroom, the older version of Lightroom. So these are the type of things. I do also like, guys, the way they have this, let's say, progression of installation of new models of cameras. The way they have it set up is really, really interesting. It's almost set up like a shop. Let's say you're buying stuff, right? And what will happen is, let's say a new camera comes out. All of a sudden, it'll come up and it'll pop up. It'll say, this camera is available, and for free, you can download the conversion, the extension for that specific raw data. You just simply click it, it downloads it, and now when you reopen AfterShot Pro 3, it's there. Boom. Just like that. You don't have to do, you don't have to do a dot release, with like Lightroom, or you don't have to go and download. It's a dynamic update. It's just, it happens right there. That is so awesome. That is really, really great. I like that a lot. That was really cool that they ended up putting that functionality in there. So it basically works the same way as installing presets or installing anything else. It's almost like a storefront. You go and click on what you want. Some of them are paid, some of them are free,
Right.
and it just dynamically loads them straight in.
Well, that's one of the new improvements in AfterShot
Exactly.
3 is now you actually have an in-app interface for finding and installing plugins and presets, whereas before they were available, but you would actually have to like go to the website and find them and download them and then bring them in through the menuing system in the application to actually get them in there. But now you've got basically like a built-in store. So there are free plugins and free presets, and there are also premium ones, paid ones. But the thing is, they're not all run and controlled by Corel. They give you the ability as a developer to still create it. You can either partner with them to have it available through that interface, or, using the SDK, you can create it yourself, have it on your own website, and people can download and install them. So you aren't locked in. But they do give you that nice and convenient way of extending the application's functionality.
Yeah. So what does that all mean, to kind of break it down? If you guys are hackers, right, and you're, coders and C++, you can basically take their SDK and now directly access the power of the 64-bit, let's say, operating platform of AfterShot Pro 3, and utilize it to its fullest ability and create your own whatever. Let's say a better way of doing skin softening, or a better way to control black and white lighting, or, photos contrast, or whatever you want to develop. You can develop it with their SDK and some simple knowledge of C++. That's right. Compile it, and now it will run, if you do it properly, on all three platforms. And that's the beauty that I really like about Corel's AfterShot Pro, is that it runs on Linux, it runs on Windows, and it runs on Mac. So it doesn't matter on what machine you're working on, you can use it to edit your photos. So really cool. I like what they're doing. They're very community oriented over there, which I really like. Me being, a Linux guy and a Unix guy for so many years, I'm a system administrator. I understand all the back end stuff, and I'm a photographer for 20 years. So it's literally a perfect marriage between, the geek in me and the photo geek in me. And it's just great. I love how they listen to the community, and I really love that they give the community the ability to modify or to program for it and then use it after the fact and give it away, or possibly even sell it, right?
Yeah, well, Greg, the gentleman we were speaking with, I mean, they surveyed, they talked to a lot of people, and they really said, the community as a whole says, we want the software to give us the best possible image. We're not concerned about, photo books or other ways of uploading things to online galleries or whatever. We don't need those types of bells and whistles. We just need to be able to make good images. And along those lines, they listened. They did, they created improved highlight recovery, which he gave us a really good demo on, and it looked strong. It looked like a really good improvement. And their blemish removal tool now is really nice. I mean, it's similar to healing, let's say. But it does a really smooth job. And I know, Joe, you played with it a little bit prior to our recording the show, and definitely, thought it was doing a really good job. Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm going to be playing with it more coming up, and maybe I'll do a review, and I'll kind of get into it a little bit deeper and dig in, put my teeth in it a little bit, just like I did with AfterShot Pro 2. So we'll see, and I'll kind of report back to you guys on how well it does. And any kind of problems that it might have, and we'll let you know. But so far, what I see, I really like the direction that Corel is going. Yeah, me too. I like the way they're giving the community the ability to change stuff, to do stuff. And I like also that they're understanding that Adobe is still a major player, and having the ability to use their platform for, let's say, bringing in images, doing the base edits on them, and then simply clicking edit using an a third-party piece of software
at that point, you can then move your software, move your image into Adobe Photoshop, do your final edit in there, whatever you want to do, and that's it. Call it a day. It's
but
really
they're doing
nice
it in
that
a TIFF file format to import it. So you can, I mean, that works all the way back to what? Photoshop 0.
Like 4.
You know, I mean, it's not dependent on you having Photoshop CC or even Photoshop 6 for that matter, which is the latest standalone version that you could get. I mean, you can work in any version, which is really awesome. I mean, and the nice thing is the price on this. For $79.99, you buy the software, you own the software. It's not a subscription model, and it gives you that flexibility. If you're already an owner, you can upgrade for $59.99 and get the latest version. So
yeah, absolutely.
Good stuff. I'm looking forward to what you're going to do with it, Joe. I'm looking forward to some more demos and some comparisons to Lightroom and how AfterShot Pro 3, stands out I mean, every software is going to have their strong points and their weaknesses, and it'll be good to see what they are and let our community make the decision as to whether or not they want to go down that road or stick with the big boy.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, Trevor, we need to get out. We don't want to.
Yes, we do. I think good show, good content. I hope you guys enjoyed it. So, Joe, if people want to connect with you outside of this show, what's the best way for them to reach you?
You guys can find me over at Twitter, and that's at Joseph Cristina. And as I always say, that's Cristina with no H.
No H. Yes, and you can connect with me on Twitter. It's at Trevor Current.
So, all right, everyone, we are out of here for yet another week. You can get all the show notes from this episode by visiting digitalphotographycafe.com. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/dphotocafe. And we'll see you next week. Take care, guys.
You've been watching the Digital Photography Cafe show with Trevor Current and Joseph Cristina. Subscribe to our YouTube channel with any compatible device by visiting youtube.com/dphotocafe. Be sure to subscribe to our audio feed through iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, and Xbox Music apps or through RSS. Visit digitalphotographycafe.com for show notes and to connect with your hosts.